bit of it. And I was crying out for help. Have you ever seen anybody cry out for help constantly? I was crying out for help that night. I went into my bedroom after drinking it all, or drinking most of it, and I took the rest of it with me. I went into my bedroom, and we had a hasp on our bedroom, to keep people out. But I couldn't find the lock because I was so blurry-eyed. And so I thought, I'm going to lock that door because I don't want anybody to bug me. Now I'm going to do what I'm going to do in here because I had planned on cutting myself. And so I took the strongest thing I could find in that house to make sure nobody could get through that door. A pencil. They're strong, don't you know? No, man. I got done with my drink. I threw the glass at the TV. I was a very violent drunk, let me tell you. An extremely violent drunk. I was mean. I mean, mean. I'm the kind of guy that would kill you if I could. I just mean drunk. And they heard the crash. They were out there playing cards, and my wife came to the door, knocked on the door, and I told her something. I don't even know what it was. And I don't know what she hit it with her arm or she kicked it. I don't know what she did with it. Whatever she did, it broke my pencil. And I was really depressed about that. But she came in and saw me laying there in a pool of blood as I had sliced my arm up really bad. And I'd already tried to take myself out here. I've got a horrible scar in my head from bashing it against a brick wall as hard as I could, which I think I got some brain damage from that one, or at least it feels like it. But she came in. This man came in right after her and jumped on top of me to hold me down because I was freaking out. Now, you heard in there about the demoniac that they couldn't bind with chains, right? Do you think a person could take a pair of handcuffs and snap them? You think that, wow, that's impossible to believe, right? I was about 140 pounds, was I not? Maybe that. I was smoking dope constantly, but I didn't eat. I know that sounds weird because most people that smoke dope eat a lot, but I didn't because it made my high go down, so I didn't eat. So I was literally starving to death. I was skinny. This guy's a big guy, isn't he? He jumped on top of me with all his weight, and I could feel him shaking. And it was like I could have broke his neck without even trying. And I wanted to. That's no joke. It was horrible. It was really horrible. Finally, somehow I got him to get off. I think I talked him into it or something. He finally got off me. My best friend came in the room, and I attacked him. Tried to kill him. Fortunately, I fell over the bed. He landed on top of me, so that wasn't a big deal. But you know what, guys? Don't get any better. The next day, my mother went to work, and she, a man who deals with this kind of thing a lot here in the area, he went to grab the door handle, and he stopped, and he said, "How's Doug doing?" And Mom tells me she was getting ready to lie. She wasn't going to tell him the truth. When she opened her mouth, it all came out. He's crazy. He tried to kill my husband last night. He tried to kill Jack last night. He's insane. And he just stood there and he said, "No, he's just demon possessed." And she thought he was crazy. Now, yeah, she did. Now you're nuts, because this guy's nutty, Anyhow, he said, "Do you think Doug would let me come over?" She said, "I don't think so." He said, "Well, can I call?" So he did. I remember this. Now, I don't remember a lot of the other stuff. I'll be honest. There's bits and pieces that I've lost over the years. But he called me. He said, "Doug, can I come over and talk to you?" And I promise you, this is what I said. "Yeah, come on over, bud. I'll be waiting for you." And when I said that way, I meant I will be waiting for you. And when you walk through the door, I will kill you. That's exactly what I meant. I think he knew that. So he was prayed up, let me tell you. When he walked through the door, this is exactly my posture. I literally couldn't look at him, let alone touch him. I couldn't look at him. He said something to me that I like to say to you folks. I shouldn't say you folks because you guys know the Lord, I'm sure, but when I minister at the mental hospital a lot, so I like to say this to them, and that is, he said exactly this: "Are you sick of it yet? Aren't you sick of this yet? Aren't you tired of living like this yet? Aren't you sick of the devil using you like a rug, doing whatever he wants through you?" Folks, I had legions in me. This is true. When they say there's different personalities to each one, there sure is. There most certainly is. Some of them are real con artisty, get through anything. Other ones will kill you. And they took control of me during those times. There was no control most of the time. And so, that's what I tell you folks, don't let your kids play with that stuff. It's dangerous. Well, he came in, he said, "Yeah, now, I understand I wasn't reformed." I'm liking that new word now. Back then, and neither is he. It was an pray this prayer after me kind of thing. But you know what I knew, and I knew. There was no doubt about it. Now, the entire time I was doing all this, I also knew in the back of my mind, you're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be serving God. And I kept saying, shut up, leave me alone. But I knew it. Well, we prayed. I knew that when I was praying that prayer, I had to do several things. The first one I had to do was repent of my sin. I knew everything I was doing was wrong. And I had to repent of my sin because I knew where that was going to get me. Where they're going to get you? Hell. That's exactly where it's going to get you. And so I did so. And we prayed. And you know that proverbial truck got lift off your back, Yeah, mine was like the Empire State Building. And it wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong. I had some problems still. I had a lot of problems. And for many years, I think about 12 years or so, I was in church. I mean, it was a total transformation. In fact, so much so that I had the pleasure of leading my mother to the Lord a few days later. I had the pleasure of leading my father to the Lord a few days after that. Oh, by the way, atheist, doesn't believe in God. I got ruined that one, didn't it? Led my wife to the Lord, and which we still serve the Lord. And so it was really awesome. In the midst of that, down the road, my wife and I had our first baby. Well, we were supposed to have our first baby, and we lost our first baby. And it was very tragic, extremely tragic, the way we lost her. We were all going back to Ohio, and not to get too graphic, but the only thing that we had in the toilet was the baby. And it was absolutely horrible. It was the worst thing I've ever gone through, and I can tell you now that those are babies. I've seen them. They're babies. And my wife started bleeding, and she almost died. And, it was just a terrible, terrible thing. So we got very angry at God. Can you imagine? Got very mad at God. And I got very depressed. I've been